Hello everyone and welcome to this playthrough for Expert Division in the Labor Day tournament. The video is sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic, so let's go! So we're going to play hole number 1 first, and we're going to go for the middle here. If you're playing Expert, you can play this shot with Apocalypse level 4, level 5. You can play with a Thor's Hammer level 5, level 6, 7, and also a big topper in level 4, 5, 6, or 7. You can also maybe play with a big topper level 3 as well with a Berserker Ball. So we are going to line up with Apocalypse level 6. And we're going to adjust this one for 6.2 rings. So we're going to adjust this shot for being in max distance with 10% extra. That is important to have in mind because we're playing slightly downhill and we don't want to risk bouncing in the rough. Bouncing directly into the rough and stay there. So now we get it up to the middle part here of the fairway, which is going to help us big time in the hunt of the albatross here on hole number 1. So before we take our second shot, check down in the video description and take a look at the timestamps for the different holes. If you do want to skip one hole, or you maybe you also want to skip, you maybe want to watch hole number 7 for an example, you don't want to wait for it, press that timestamp and you will get directly to it. Other than that, I hope you will enjoy this video, and that is going to help you big time for your game in the Expert tournament. So as well, check out patreon.com/golf/Tommy for training sessions, and also sign up for the text guide package so you get the text guides before everyone else. So our opponent is playing left, and you know, left side is going to be a good way to play as well. If you don't believe that you will be going into the middle there and also not having the clubs for it, then play left side. That is going to give you definitely an easy way to get it to green. We're going to play this shot as we would be in minimum distance of our club. And as you can see in this example here, we're going to use the side of the pin there as reference. We do want to go with like one cup to the right, as we're going to have some side wind to the left, and we're going to not use any topspin or headwind whatsoever. 5.8 rings, as we are in minimum distance of our club with the sniper. You can see we're coming in here, going to bounce, we're going to roll, getting it very close, very close. Good speed as well, and if we would be hitting the pin, that would be going in. But very good try when it comes to hole number 1. Definitely an opportunity to make an albatross. Hole number 2, a par 3. Now it's time to go for the rough bump. We're going to adjust our sniper shot for being in max distance plus 5%. So we're adding 5% to our normal adjustment here. So as you can see, our opponent's going for the rough bump as well, and with a Santa ball, Wind 5 ball, this is absolutely a very good opportunity to make an hole-in-one. And I do believe that if you just hit your ball perfect, you're going to be close. Check out the Team Tommy mug. That's awesome. Got today. We do have an own store, so check it out. Also in the video description down below, you can see the link to it. Getting it to bounce a bit short here, and just with a little bit more, like just like a quarter of a ring more with adjustment, that would have been an hole-in-one. So our turn, playing with a Kingmaker par 3 ball, and even though we are not in max distance of our club now, we're going to use max distance as a reference and add 5% here. So as you can see, we're lining up as well on the right side of the cup, because the ball is many of the times going to bounce a little bit to the left. So we're going to use the right side of the cup as our ball guideline position there. 7.6, and then it's time to adjust. I'm going to go with 5, and then we're going to add a little bit more. We're going to add 8 and go and play in list 8.7, 8.8 rings. We hit it perfect, kind of rushed it a little bit there in the end. And we're going to bounce, and we're going just past it, so a little bit too much. We should be going with 8.6 rings. Both of us are very close on this one. Very good attempt. Now you can see me playing hole number 3 in a very special way. I haven't been playing this way in like regular tour play. a single time. So this is a play definitely for this tournament, and definitely something that will be possible to play with some strong wind when it comes to regular tour play. Have in mind that if you do have a power 4 ball, like the dead ball, the royal ball, or like the roulette ball or something like that, then you can definitely try to play on the island directly in front. You will have to overpower your shot. You can see how much our opponent is having to overpower, and this is going to be a tough shot to make a perfect shot off and let it stay there on the fairway. You can see to reach over, shouldn't be able to use that much overpower. And the thing that I'm looking for when making the playthrough is to find a way where we're not going to have to overpower a shot and going to be able to play with a regular ball like a Kingmaker, Titan or something like that, and being able to have a good chance for the eagle anyway. So the thing that we're going to do, max topspin, 3 bars of side spin. Look at the ball guide line here. We're going to bounce over the bunker. And yes, it is consistent. So we're going to bounce over the bunker. We don't need to roll that far. Have in mind that you're not using too much side spin to the right, then you're going to put the rough on the right side in play. We're going to play this one 5.6 rings. Hard when we do have the trees in our way, so really be spot on with that one, so you really know how to where to adjust that one. But 5.6 rings with the X-Mile level 8. We hit it perfect, no curl whatsoever. Look at this ball now. Let it bounce and roll down on the fairway to make ourselves stop easily there on that fairway. If you do want to, you can use less topspin to have a little bit more control. So you just bounce over the bunker and be very short on that fairway, so you're not putting any of the roughs in play on left or the right side. The reason we play that way is to give ourselves that easy drive, nothing is easy, but an easier drive, so we can actually put ourselves up to play with either a long iron or with a wood club in a very good position to be able to make the eagle from distance. So that is what we're looking for while making that drive. You can play up short on the left side, trying to go with a wood club with a lot of distance for the second shot. I wouldn't suggest it because you're going to have some headwind for the second shot, and you're most likely going to have to over your shot kind of big time and having a very hard time to adjust for the pin there. So okay, our turn now. Just look at this position, which is going to be beautiful for us. We're going to have the sniper, and we're going to be adjusting a sniper for being somewhere in between medium and maximum distance, as we're going to adjust for some headwind. So we're going to adjust 1 bar side spin to the right, and we're going to go with 4.5 bars backspin, letting the ball guideline to be a little bit past the pin, because we're going to have an compressed ball guideline due to the slight headwind that we do have. 8.7, and we're going to give ourselves, as you can see, we're going to give us 5, we're going to give us 9 rings for this adjustment. So somewhere in between medium and maximum distance, we go with 9 rings here, will work good. Slightly coming in too much to the right, should be taken away the side spin to the right, like easy to be wise afterwards. But that is a good way to play hole number 3, a consistent way to get that birdie and take away the risking having to overpower your shot. Hole number 4, and now we're going to play with max backspin on our sniper, because we do have some slight tailwind here to adjust for. Max backspin, and we're going to line up there on front of this island here. We're going to adjust 1 square to the right of the pin, as you can see there, and slightly below the pin's distance as well, like 1 square, like half a square below the pin as well. 7.2, we're going to adjust for being in medium distance plus 10%. So we're going to add 10% from medium numbers. So as you can see, we're playing 7 rings from this distance, and slight amount of curl to the right. Now we do hit it great, which of course is a bit risky when we do hit it great, but we're coming in too much to the right, and with a perfect, who knows, that might have been a hole-in-one. But this is an easy way to play hole number 4. Sorry for saying the word easy. There is no easy way, but at least an easier way to play hole number 4 than trying to go for the rough bump, in my opinion. If you do go too much to the left, then you're going to roll down on the green and have a very tough putt. And that is something that we really do need to have in mind when we're playing that shot. So So our opponent here is going to try to do the same, but coming a little bit short, rolling out on the fairway there. But look at my landing position, look at my target for my adjustment here. Definitely a way for us to secure that birdie and have a possible hole-in-one opportunity. Hole number 5, par 5, and now we're going to go for the hook shot. Here in Expert, we're going to have some favorable wind, in my opinion, especially when we're going to play with extra mile. We're going to play with an extra mile level 7. So, okay, our opponent is going to try to just go play straight forward, and I don't blame our opponent for doing so. Stay away from the rough and from the bunker, please, and don't take away the opportunity to make an albatross from distance. As you can see here, I'm going to go for the hook shot here. Going to play with a berserker when it comes to the X mile level 7. If you're playing with an apocalypse here, that is almost that you need to take away. It's around 14 rings when it comes to adjusting for the hook shot. Then we need to adjust for the wind as well. So we need to take away around 5 rings down there. So we need to remove it and be like from the cutoff here, as you can see here now. I'm going to adjust a little bit now in the end to give ourselves a little bit more to the left. So going to have max side spin, max top spin. I'm going to adjust a little bit more again. I'm going to just have the center of the yellow ring on top there. Hook that shot with max curl on XML level 7, max overpower. As you can see, we're coming in with a very nice line and going to be not very close, but we're going to make the best out of the situation. Now, of course, going to get a very tough wind from that distance, like having like this side wind, but we're going to be close. I'm going to do our very best to make that albatross there, and you can't get it not easy, but simpler than that when it comes to it. Have in mind that was an X mile level 7 with 10.7 in wind. Have in mind that you might have to tweak your adjustment a little bit when it comes to the strength in the wind combined with the club that you're having, especially if you're having more club. I think like an extra mile is absolutely perfect here, but I also think like if you do have an upgraded Apocalypse, dial in that hook shot. It's like there are more, like an Apocalypse level 6 for example, you have around 20 to 22 rings in your adjustment, but you're also going to have more distance for that club, so you will have to adjust it like from the rough's perspective and out there from the right. So we're going to actually reach over the rough there a bit. So we're going to play with the thorn min distance here. So 10.3. we kind of forget, like when I'm so used to playing with a lot more ball guide, and kind of like the mistake here that I do is that the ball is going to be bounced right. So we're going to 10.3 min distance of our thorn. We're going to give us 3 rings. I know it says a little bit less, but we're going 3 rings to give it a little bit more to counter for the push that we're going to get. Get it to bounce, getting very close, but you see we're bouncing to the right, so we should have been bouncing just a little bit to the left side there instead. So, but that was hole number 5, and that is an easy eagle, definitely an opportunity for the albatross. But just so I have it said, if you cannot play the hook shot, play it safe with a quarterback and just line it up and then have a long iron or a wood club towards the pin. So, okay. And now we're going to play with the big topper here. And this shot is as same as pro. It's possible to play with basically whatever big topper you have. If you do have big topper level 3 or below, play with a berserker ball instead. So we're going to adjust this shot for being 3.1 rings. And slight amount of curl, slight amount of overpower, because we do have a power 3 ball and we can't just rely on the distance of it. As you will be able to see here now, we're going to bounce, but this is a risk that we do take. Just look at that ball to die. Still, I suggest to go with that shot. The reason I do that is because we're going to still have a very good opportunity from the rough to make that eagle that we're looking for here on hole number 6. Some players is going to have the luck to roll through the rough like we did in pro, but some players is going to make the ball to just stop in the rough. So that is going to be an inconsistent bounce for us, but definitely a risk and reward shot that we're definitely going to take. Worst case scenario, we're going to miss that first fairway spot there and rolling into the bunker or into the rough. Then it's important that you do have a rough iron and a sandwich with a lot of backspin, like the Machete Amazon for rough, like the Houdini for sandwich. If you might have the Razor, I think that could also be a little bit better when it comes to the rough iron, as we do have more backspin with it, but also some good ball guideline as well with the Razor. But in the end, that is not something that we do hope, but as the worst case scenario. If you're not going to play that shot that we did, you might not have the big topper, you might not have an upgraded Apocalypse or the Thor's Hammer, then I just suggest you either play right or you play left side. From the left, you're going to have almost straight tailwind if you play it as high as our opponent did. And that could be good there. We're going to, from this distance, we're going to adjust our rough iron to be like 1 square to the left of the pin for this 8 mile per hour wind, or like 7.9. We're going to get it, and we're going to be very, very close to miss on the right, but still we'll get it in for an eagle. And there you can see it's absolutely possible for us to make that eagle, even though we get stuck in the rough. So, hole number 7, we're going to play with 2.5 bars backspin, max side spin here. We're going to let the ball guideline show us that we would be coming in a little bit too much to the right. So we're going to use, as you can see on the landing position there, we're going to use the blue ring as a reference there to have that one to just cut the rough, as you can see there on the screen. 7.4, we're going to add 10% in our adjustment, and we're going to give ourselves 6.5 rings. So we're going to be somewhere in between min and medium distance plus 10%, okay? We hit it perfect. We do have max side spin, if I didn't say that before. Max side spin, 2.5 bar backspin. Coming up nicely here, but coming in a little bit short. Might going to reduce a little bit more when it comes to the backspin. Oh, very, very close. Definitely a possible hole-in-one in my opinion as well. So this shot is a shot that is played a lot on Tour 11, as it is one of the par 3s there. So it's definitely a possible hole-in-one. Use the back of the green, but look at the landing position that I'm having. And I'm playing with a quarterback as well. The reason I'm playing with a quarterback is to get myself that ball guideline that I do want. So much easier to adjust when we do have a ball guideline to follow. So our opponent is going to play with the sniper here, and sure, if you do reach for the green, it's going to be an easy birdie for you to just putt it in, but we're looking for the way to make a hole-in-one, and as I did adjust, we used a little bit too much backspin, I do believe, so we just need to slightly take that away. Might going to go with 2, or just reduce it just a tiny little bit so we get more speed rolling towards the hole there, but it's definitely a hole that I do like very much to play. So we did put it in, and we took that birdie there. So now we do have 2 more holes left to play. We do have hole number 8, and we do have hole number 9. And that is first a birdie hole, and then we do have an eagle hole. So it's very important to get a good drive on hole number 8, so we're not finding ourselves to be like in between clubs or something like that for the second shot. So, okay, this is one of the shootouts here, and of course not going to be in play here. So we do take that one away, and then we go and focus on hole number 8 here. Hole number 8, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be a par 4 of the Southern Pines on Tour 11. And then we do need to go with a club with as much topspin as possible. not as much topspin as possible, at least distance and topspin combined. Some curl is always good to have, so the Apocalypse level 4 is a very good club for that. So, and then we're going to play with a Kingmaker, and we're going to add backspin in our bag as well to go with either the Saturn or the Thorn here, to give our, not or, but Saturn and the Thorn, to give ourselves that opportunity to make the ball stop directly on the green if we are finding ourselves to be with a long arrow range or a short arrow range towards the pin. So we're going to have some side wind, 7.3, and this is going to be a tough wind because it kind of takes away the opportunity to play on the right side if you're not having a lot of curl, like for an example with Apocalypse. But I have this feeling myself, like if I do have a lot of wind right to left, or have wind right to left as in general, then I don't play right side because it's putting a lot more risk in play. And definitely not like this, because our opponent is going to hit a perfect spot there on the fireway, but without curl, that ball is like 99 out of 100 times going to bounce into the bunker from that position. So we are going to play left side, and we're going to go max overpower and max topspin and as much side spin to the right as possible. And again, we do want to go with max overpower and risk like a shot that we do hit great instead of perfect, because we do want to be able to bounce over the tip of the bunker there to the left if we do make like a bad drive. So that we won't be doing if we're just going to make it as a regular shot. So as you can see here, like our opponent is going to, from this position here, going to have no way to reach for this green in 2. And that is of course something that will be very, very dangerous. And that is also a way why I don't like to play right side, especially when we're risking so much. The beautiful part with the right side, if we reach over there, we definitely have an open shot for the pin and going to have a much easier shot for the eagle, or at least the attempt for the eagle. So, okay, our turn now, and we are going to play with the Saturn here. And as you can see, we're going to have the Saturn in max distance. We're going to go max backspin on our club to just be able to play directly on green. Just think about having like the Goliath here, for an example, that don't have that much backspin. That would be a very tough shot, as you're most likely going to reach over the green. I try to kind of over adjust my ball guideline position because we're going to bounce uphill, which means that the ball guideline is going to be a bit compressed and going to stop a bit further than we want. So 5 rings is going to be my adjustment here with the Saturn. It's going to show that it's going to be a little too little. So we do need to go, like in this instance, we do need to go with 5.5 rings. I did adjust for max numbers, so we basically need to play this one 5 or 10% extra for this particular shot. So our opponent is having the Goliath level 5 here. Definitely going to be possible to reach for the green there. But as you can see, the backspin helps us there. If we reach shorter, then we will have to curl it around, or going to have to make the rough bump. Now it's time for the big topper again. We're going to use a Titan here because we do want to have as much wind as possible when it comes to tailwind for our shot. And in Expert, it's definitely possible for you to have like wind with a Titan around like 9-10 miles per hour, and that is going to help big time. So 8.9, and we're going to adjust for our shot here with the big topper. So we're going to make an adjustment and then going to, of course, drag it out there so we go be in max distance of our club. And you can see I'm using a little bit of curl to the left there to kind of push myself a little bit a little bit more towards the left. As you see as well, we do reach a good amount of distance there on the fairway. With a Berserker, you can play the same type of shot, of course, but then you will have to remove some of the overpower because you're going to have more wind to play with. And the problem with the Berserker, if you're not getting the roll that you do want over the bunker there, is that you're going to be having the tree line in play, and because you're going to have to adjust more rings than with a power 3 ball, as you're going to have less power on that one, combined with less wind as well. But our opponent is using a berserker here, and it's a good way. I like the big topper here. It's definitely going to help me to make a consistent eagle, and I hope that will help you as well. But if you're not having that, then you can definitely play with basically whatever club you have and try to go over there and try to reach as far to the top as possible. But this is kind of worst case scenario, having the tree line massively in play. The drive is also played 20% extra if you're just going to try to line up. Now we do have the Cataclysm level 6, but I do suggest that you're using either the Cataclysm in whatever level you have or the Big Dog in whatever level you have. You do want to bounce in the rough there to roll that ball towards the pin there on the green. I do want to go either rather short on green than trying to roll over, but now we don't have that opportunity to kind of like roll over the pin because we're going to be in max distance. We need to bounce in the rough. That is very, very important. 9.5, I'm going to add 10% to our adjustment, as this ball is going to be affected a little bit more by the wind. So we go with 6.3, 6.4 rings. And now we're just going to make our shot. We're not going to overpower whatsoever. And as you can see, that we were very close to the tree line because we had to adjust a fair amount. And that is something that will be a problem with a berserker if you're not having enough topspin to clear the trees there. So this was hole number 9, ladies and gentlemen, and also the playthrough for Expert Division. If you do have any questions, please make a comment in the comment section below and I'll be happy to help you out there. The video is sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic. Good luck in the Labor Day tournament.